recording the first episode of what's this
of
called?
of a podcast.
Our
Yes,
podcast. Yeah,
it's just one podcast. Yeah.
of
Listen,
us just talking,
yo,
and I have my
like,
robotic
should we
voice.
introduce?
Okay,
I don't think you should go for
yeah,
that. We should
yeah.
go for
Like
intros first, and
we're
then.
we're off to a great start, bro. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, my name is No One Cares, and you're Robotic McGee over there. I see we got it. We got some synergy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna use my virtual name because I don't want to show to you guys my real name. Yeah, you can call me Daiji or whatever.
Hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm like your co-host. I think it wasn't my idea to make this podcast, but it was my friend's idea, which is Daiji. But you guys can call me Dirk, DerR preferably. I don't have like a @ that has that name. I just have it in Discord, so we're just gonna have to use that. I mean, Twitter has it, but like we don't talk about my Twitter. It's just a fucking cesspool.
Just filled with
but
like random like photos of your Sims.
I mean, I don't have simps on Twitter. If anything, I just look at people simping and I'm like, man, that's really funny. How come I don't got one of them? But
Dude,
it's fine.
speaking of Twitter and the app that destroyed my favorite gaming creator.
I think it was more they canceled him because he had different views on society at the time.
I mean, yeah, at the
Maybe
time, yeah.
maybe not at the time anymore. We're not sure if Scott Cawthon really still believes in that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he still did.
I mean, he's still Christian, so you know.
Yeah, Christian who makes horror games where children die stuffed in animatronic. He says he's. I mean, there was one time people complained about that. He was like pro-life on Twitter, like, "Yo, I'm pro-life," and everyone was like, "Yo, you're pro-life, but you make games that are legitimately like the fucking spawn of Satan sometimes," and even mentioned hell multiple times.
Like freaking like children into animatronic robots and call it, and like when they come out, it's just, oh look, it gave birth, pro-life.
They came back to life. Whoa!
Yeah.
See, I'm not advocating for murder, although I actually don't have. I haven't actually played any of the new stuff they had because I haven't played like any of the FNAF games yet. Because I played like the first one back on my mobile phone for like a long time ago. I got 100% completed like FNAF 3, but I never actually played any of the other games besides those two because the other one cost money. Like, because they were all free back in the Aptoid days and the Android stuff.
You're like,
And I
I'll
used to be
support the
pro
franchise as long as it's free.
Yo, but that was how it was though. Why wasn't it free beforehand? Like Scott was like, "Fuck it, it's free."
Yeah, I
Here's my
think
last
the
booyah.
original 2 or 3 games are like you have to pay for them, but I think after the 4th one or 5th one, I think they're free. Yeah.
I find out how funny everyone was like, "Yo, this man made this game all by himself and just put it out there for free on Game Jolt. This guy's a legend." Then the third
Oh,
game,
was
he
it Game
charges
Jolt?
it.
Oh,
It
damn, I
was
forgot
Game
about
Jolt.
Game Jolt.
Game Jolt was
Oh.
when they released the teaser trailers for like FNAF 3 and the teaser images, and everyone's like
And dude,
going
he
all like
made
losing their shit.
FNAF 1 through like 3 in like a year. That's just insane.
We all made fun of it because we legit got like 3 games in the same year it existed. Because like everyone was surprised that Scott could just make those games at such a rapid pace.
And
In
they're not good
hindsight,
games.
it made sense.
Yeah, like he just kept going with the hype. Like all of his other games like just failing with this one. I hit the lottery. I'm gonna keep going.
I mean, he always insisted it was for like story reasons and like,
dude, don't even get me started on the lore of that game.
remember like FNAF 3 was like considered the finale of it
Yeah,
all,
it was
and everyone was
considered
like
the
happy
finale.
for it. Everyone was like happy for it to be the finale, but I wasn't, and I was like, "What the? This should be another game. This shit sucked." I like okay. Listen, when you're playing on an airport, you get scared because like I'm a jumpy little guy. I don't like seeing animatronics jump at me in my fucking 2011 Android tablet that I got from just taking tutoring classes, in elementary school. Like I got the old stuff,
Yeah,
and I enjoyed my time with the game, not saying I didn't, but I feel like it didn't feel that scary in comparison to 2 and 1,
Oh yeah,
2
like it's
especially.
just that FNAF 3. Like
Mm.
in terms of
I
lore, it's one of the biggest ones. Not bigger, obviously, than Security Breach. Sorry, than Sister Location or FNAF 4. But it introduced like so many things to the franchise, so many stuff, and yeah, and like I get why it's not scary because obviously Springtrap's jump scare it isn't scary. It's just like it just looks like he walks up to you and like, hey bro, how you doing?
Hey, it's my boy! He just fucking kills you.
It's my boy. No.
Actually, I always felt like I think the game gave you so much power, like, with the, when the high-end hellos from Balloon Boy. I think that's the reason why
Yeah,
I didn't get scared of it because like, I had a way to defend myself,
yeah.
and it really took away the fun because you can just spam hello and hi on, like, a random camera and lock the vents in that room, and boom,
When you
you're
say
stuck
like
there.
hello, hi, it just reminded me of like the Pimations animation. Oh my god, I love those animations.
"Why are you hunting that child?"
I don't know, dude. I just like every single time I watch, I remember it, I have to watch it just so I can hear like get crowbar, bitch. Thanks for
Thanks for
crowbar,
the crowbar,
Foxy.
Foxy.
I
Foxy, what the fuck? I don't
don't
know, I'm
know. I was
bored.
bored. Hey, Springtrap. You wanna know what time it is?
What?
You wanna know what time it is? Oh, it's so good. Yeah, but
I
like
mean, my
talking about the
cousin
games
used
and
to
everything, like Security
yeah.
Breach just came out. That it's
It
I
did?
it's
It did?
yeah, it did surprisingly, didn't it?
You see, I heard about the game, and I thought it would be really cool to have that as, like, a launch title for the PS5. That didn't happen, but, it would've been really funny if it did, because then
Yeah.
that would've meant one of the next gen games would've just been FNAF Security
Yeah, and
Breach.
like it's not to I'm probably gonna talk shit about the game later, but I just want to get this in the clear. Like getting an indie game like in the front page of a PlayStation, like the store and everything, and like having
The
to get more
console.
views than any other game in PlayStation. It's like Scott must be really proud of that. I'm proud of that, obviously, because I'm a fan of the franchise, and I was really proud to be a FNF fan at that moment.
I mean, I enjoyed the visual aspect of Security Breach. I think the
Oh
art direction in all the games,
yeah,
are really good.
yeah.
I think Scott is
Visually,
really good at character
the
designing,
game is stunning. Yeah, visually, the
I
game is stunning. As except for some bugs here and there, but like especially the
and the
cameras. But it's okay. It's
and
alright.
fake ball pit that also could be considered kind of like, "Whoa, this is
Yeah.
next gen graphics with RTX, holy shit, man. I need a new computer."
The only problem is like you need a computer from like freaking NASA to run that game like with RTX on.
To be fair, I think everyone already complained about it. People have, like, an
Yeah.
opinion of whether they like the jank of the game or just, like, the idea of the game or the attempt that they made with the character and their story beats and arcs, but
Oh,
they
dude, the
really
story. Oh my god.
I
Like
think FNAF had potential to just be one of those, like, scary little horror games where it's, like, marketed for kids, but in reality has, like, a lot of lore, and it could have been like that, you know,
I just
like the
remember
first game
like
was.
yeah, I just remember when it was like all about like actual psychological horror and like there wasn't that much in like the jump scares and everything. But now with like Security Breach and well, the books no, the books are pretty like like scary and everything, but Security
But
Breach
they're self
mostly it's
Yeah,
just
but the
like
books are self-contained, so I wouldn't count
exactly.
them.
But like the game in terms of the story, I just don't know if like they didn't have enough time or anything, but I just feel like I'm playing like a different game than what I was supposed to get. Because like in the trailers, they say something. For example, that voice that said, "If you don't bring me what I want, you will burn." Like both of you, and like that voice is never heard in anywhere in the game, and that just
Like,
leaves me
anywhere.
wondering with like, dude, like where was this going? Like this could have been
I mean, have you
something
seen the
really
cut
good.
content of the game, though, on Twitter? Like, everyone's kinda, like, ripped the game files online, right?
Yeah, I
And they
did
showed
see that.
secret costumes from Sun and Moon, they seem like different voice lines that Freddy and Vanessa would like, interact with each other. Like, Vanessa would have a bigger role in the story, which I thought she was going to have, because they set her out back in, like, Help Wanted, but it's didn't work out at all, and I kinda wonder, man. There's actually one time someone mentioned on Twitter when the game released. Everyone was like saying how they lost potential in the story and how a good idea would have been just have Vanessa instead of being related to like William Afton at anything,
Yeah, and like
instead of being like
it could have been a
it
good
could have been
way
like
to like
it
make the
could have been
French.
like no, I
You go
mean like
first.
it
You go
could have been a
first. You
good
go
way
first.
to like it could have been a good way to tie in like the continuity from the first few games, right? But also let us have a new continuity with
Hmm.
Vanessa just being inspired by William Afton's acts, and that would have been just more horrifying experience because that way it could have been infinite. Like the source could have been infinite all the time, and
Yeah,
just
and
different
like
approaches to the idea.
yeah, I see what you're saying because like and like I was saying, it could have been a way to like make the franchise quote unquote like woke, with like just Vanessa being like the new Afton and like just letting freaking like William just rest or whatever. But I
Too
guess I don't know.
bad. Should we put spoilers though? I didn't think we didn't put spoilers, but
I
I mean,
mean,
that
they've
game's been out for
already
like a
made it
couple of
this far,
months.
so yeah, it's whatever. Like we have MatPat to thank for spoilers.
That is true. Anyone
Speaking
watch
of
those videos?
MatPat,
I
have
guess
you seen the
haven't seen
freaking
them.
Oh, you haven't?
Seen
Okay, don't worry. Like the newest one, I love game theory. Like he's one of my main like inspirations into the whole YouTube and whatever thing. I'm not doing YouTube, but basically he just inspired me to keep watching. But his newest theory about the game, like he's already made two theories about Security Breach after the game came out.
oh,
And the first one is okay because it's backed up by evidence in the game, but the second one just goes off the rails. Like, oh god, I don't know if anybody here, like anybody that's like listening to this has seen it, but he talks about Vanessa being like Emily, I think that's her name, Emily Afton, which is one of the daughters of William. And I'm like, there's no way. Like, no, dude. Like, this is just going into like Nessa Sands like territory.
the unexpected short intermission. Intermission. And that's the word. Didn't expect man to just go like poop. So sorry about that. Anyways, I'm back.
Good, good.
I'm not sure if we're
Anyways,
gonna, but whatever. And just we're talking about William Afton, and it just the game. I mean, the computer crashed. So
he just inserted himself in your computer.
oh, the glitch trap, man, fucking talk about wasted potential. Whoo, boy. To be
Glitch
fair,
trap, like, oh my god, yeah. Like, oh god. I don't know if I should say this. I'm just gonna say it. You can judge me, I don't care. I'm in a I'm in a FNAF roleplay server.
all right.
But I just do it so I can like make myself a better writer, right? I don't do it because I'm into kinky
I,
stuff.
I can
But
think of worse ways to get you insane, but go ahead, man.
but
Uh,
but like the story that was created in that server was like how MatPat said that there was that a cult was actually created out of the like Help Wanted, and like you could create your own cult member with like different powers. Because for example, you could inject them with Remnant, and like they could have some of the animatronic abilities. For example, you know how some of the animatronics, when the lights flicker, they can disappear. Well, if
yeah.
one of the cult members was injected with Remnant, then they could do that. And it was so cool because like it completely changed the narrative of the game, but it did it in a way that works in the franchise. And obviously all the role plays could be a canon thing. At least all of which I was part of, except from characters that were already dead, speaking to characters that are alive right now. Like when it was just a cult member speaking to another cult member, it felt like an actual conversation that would take place in that universe.
So
And
you
it
got
was
a taste of what could have
so
been,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I was like, oh my god, like if something like this happens in the actual game, like that would be amazing. But obviously it didn't happen. Whatever. I'm partially okay with it. I'm not mad or anything. But I just feel like
You
the
see,
game was completely like
I mean,
I
as a casual Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I can see from the outside how that could be considered cool. But since I never read the books, besides like I guess the first few pages of the book one, I don't know how it would have changed the entire franchise in the game department. Because my concern is trying to keep the gameplay not stale, and also just make sure like the story, which is like a
no.
big part of because like FNAF games usually had like story bits, but they were so vague and it got to the point where Scott couldn't be vague anymore after
Hmm.
Pizzeria Simulator because
Yeah.
he had to say something about the story directly to us, and it wasn't gonna be through spin-offs or like the VR
The
game. And
movie.
I mean, the movie didn't come out, and we still got security
We'll talk
breaches. This
about the
wasn't
movie
like
later. We'll talk about the movie later. But like, yeah, I
like I
understand what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
like I don't know what the remnants mean. I just know this is the souls of the childs, and the after one to harvesting or whatever. But that's all I got from the book. So I'm gonna be honest
Yeah,
with you, Chief.
like just like Kremen is just like powerful soul glue, basically. Soul like soul juice or something that can like just make you live a lot longer. But whatever, I digress. Like yeah, like at least the gameplay of Security Breach, I like it because it was a completely different thing from where we left off of the series, where like it was actual Five Nights at Freddy's, and obviously since it was better for the narrative of the story, it was only one night, but like I loved the way how they did it. Like each hour was like a different night, and at some points in the game, you would actually play like you'd be in the office. You would shut the doors. You would check on the cameras, turn on lights, turn off lights, everything like that.
Dude, I just had the idea in my head because I was watching gameplay of it earlier, like this week. But imagine if Security Breach was just like the Joy of Creation, but like for the Pizzaplex instead of Scott Cawthon's house.
Ooh.
Dude, I don't understand why they didn't go for that direction. That would have been so cool. It would have made the animatronics even creepier. It would have been so more intense. But then again, the context of Joy Creation makes sense to why the animatronics are like violent in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're still in the Pizzaplex, which means everything's kind of like kidified still, so no one's like kind of demented. But I guess when you take off, like was it Funtime Chica or
Glam Rock.
Glam Rock Chica? Glam Rock Chica, then taking out their voice box, for example, then they start becoming more one of those animatronics. I
And
mean,
like I liked I okay, it's this is why I say that the game had so much potential, but like at one point they changed the story. Because like for example, I would have loved for like us because I'm a storyteller and whatever, but like I would have loved for there to be a much tighter connection between the animatronics and the audience. Because for example, I love how subtle it is, but you can actually like when Roxy like loses her eyes and she becomes like ugly and everything, you can hear her cry, and I'm like, oh my god, that would have been like such a good direction to take the game, like take us through what they are thinking, like to what the through what the animatronics are thinking, because we've never had that. Only like Ultimate Custom Night where we've heard like their voices, and even then it was like a interpretation of what William thought because William was in hell and whatever. But yeah, basically what I mean is that it could have been a good way to like make a different
like,
uh
could you imagine like the game having like multiple pathways, right? And there's like a path where you can pretty much quote unquote spare the animatronics, I guess. But like there's like an also like an other pathway where you have all the gang with you, right? But Vanessa can turn them against you at any point in the story, and it could just fuck with you, and you have to like hide from everyone except from like Glam Rock Freddy. Like imagining like let's say for example like a Joy of Creation, right? Um, we just have like a giant hallway, for example. We have like an entourage with us, and then like Vanessa appears out of nowhere, and then like she controls the animatronic because it's very implied that like Vanessa, as well as Vanny, have like controlled the animatronics like
yeah.
directly. So I was thinking maybe just have them turn against you, the way how William Afton tried to. Well, this is spoilers, I guess, for the end of the game. If you don't want to hear it, then fucking get off. But but at the
Yeah, he's
end,
like
there's
fuck
like
off.
a
We don't
specific
need your
like
watch
boss fight
time.
with William Afton where like Freddy has to like fight off the control of Afton,
Yeah,
and I thought it was a cool concept trying to turn in one of the animatronics you've trusted so far
that's the
against you.
that's
And
the
I
thing.
don't. That could have been like a big thing with Vanny, but they didn't. They didn't do it with like that, and instead it just made Vanny more like a pushover. And then like Vanessa herself is not even seen after like the first act of the game. She just is gone.
Like I would have made like the animatronics chase you up until a certain point, like chase you on their own. Like they're not being controlled by anything. Like just their basic like programming, like protocol programming, basically. Just like saying, hey, there's a kid in the pizzeria after hours. Find him, take him to the front of the pizzeria and wait for like a parent to come. That's okay, cool. But like at one point, the animatronics become really aggressive and like really scary. And
Yeah.
now the main villain is not the animatronics, but more of Vanny or Vanessa. And like that
How
would
did
have
they
been
go?
cool because like it would put much more relevance to Vanny, because Vanny, like we see her rarely in the Pizzaplex, and there's like that one cutscene of her like at the ending of the game where like he pushes the button to like say to like dismantle Freddy,
Yeah.
and that's it, and like I still don't know where like the therapy tapes go, because like there are some therapy tapes, I don't know where those go. I just feel like the game, they wanted to do so much with it that they just like they did a
Didn't they
half-ass job. Like the game is good, but it could have been so much better.
I always think about the fact that Pizzaplex is so big, right? And they made it big for a reason, to make you feel like you're lost in a gigantic maze where there's no escape until like 6 a.m. And I
Hmm.
get what they were going for with it. They're trying to be ambitious with your surroundings, so you can explore them at all times. Like it was Zelda or like Breath of the Wild, for example, or a different game I can't think of right now. Uh, trying to make you try to explore the Pizzaplex, but instead of collecting like power stars or like getting like new weapons in Breath of the Wild or Mario, you just get more like lore bits, and it's like it gets more interesting as you go further along the rabbit hole. But if you go further along that
It's
path,
fun.
it gets more dangerous. And so, it's a risk versus reward kind of thing, where you kind of risk yourself going like the daycare center, for example, trying to find the secret stuff. um but then, like, the animatronics are a bit more aggressive when you get closer to more sensitive parts of the story. um
Yeah.
I can't think of an example directly from the game, because it's like I do know like one though, and it's like Mr. Moon. Is it Mr. Moon, or it's just Moon and Sun, whatever?
Moon
Moon
job, I
Sun,
think.
Moon Job.
What?
uh, you said, I don't know. I heard you say Moon Job. Anyways, Sun and Moon. I mean, I feel like, man, they only appear when you like repair Freddy or like improve him and stuff. But I
Yeah.
wonder why they didn't like use him in Daycare Center. He could have been like that kind of like, what if every single like piece of Plex like area had like their own boss, and
I
instead of like
mean,
being a boss to the fight, but it's just like more like an animatronic. Because I feel like limiting it to like about four, it kind of makes it special, right? But I don't know, like, it just makes the game feel more empty when you like look at it that way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, like the game, you feel like they could have been so much more done with it. And obviously they didn't have enough time, like
The game's full of detail. Like, that's like out of like the
yeah.
question. Like, it has a lot of detail, secret references, and Easter eggs, things that don't make sense in the story. But hey, it's a good Easter egg for us fans,
It's
I guess.
FNAF, nothing makes
Like,
sense either way.
like the arcade stuff that we see all around the game, which is like, whoa, cool fan service, but holy crap, that's too many. It's like plot holes. Um, and then, like, Music Man's there, which is like, okay, yo,
Yeah, what
but
what is he doing there? Like the tiny music man.
why is he a tiny Music Man and then he just fucking upgrades to a gigantic monster?
Like that's one
Come
of the
on.
scariest like things in the game. Like that tiny music man. I just hate it.
Yo, but yeah, it's just hearing the like the theme song and the jingle box. What was it called? Melody box? What's it called? What's the thing? The jukebox? I forgot the name of
I
the
don't
use.
music
But
box, I think.
if whatever, because
Yeah, whatever. And
either
like
way, the bench should have been having those kind of animatronics like everywhere around creeping unicorns. Like, not like RNG, because it would be kind of annoying, but more like, you know, if you're in like an empty space, there should be like distractions, and then the more you get distracted with collectibles, the more at risk you are at being
mm,
caught by the animatronic. Which,
like
but at the same time, like, I don't know how they would have like balanced it out properly, because
the
they don't know where you are exactly in the game. So
the game is it's a good game. Like it's definitely not bad. I like the gameplay. I like
it's
the
just not
character
polished. That's it.
designs. Exactly. It just needs like some polishing. And I hope that with DLCs and with updates, it'll get better. but yeah, it just needs a little bit of polishing, and
I mean,
that's
Steel has
that's
apologized
why
for
I'm so excited. Wait, what?
Steel will kind of like said how they were like a little sorry how the game turned out initially, and they want to like try to improve it like for the long haul. Like they're
No,
in it for like
like they
so.
like I'm super proud of what they did because like they're such a small team and like they did that in like a year or two. And it's such a, like
Exactly.
it's actually a really good game. Like if you look at it like technically and you forget about the lore and everything, it's a really good game. Like for the short amount of time that they had and the short staff that they had, it's a really good game.
I mean, it's debatable so far because we know the game is interesting because to us, like yo, open world FNAF game, let's go. But like in the grand scheme of things, the game it has a great like setup. It's just needed to like make more of the in-game content more like worthwhile.
Yeah, I
Besides like
just
the funny
hope
little plushes.
that with the new books that tells the Pitaplex, I think that's what they're called. I hope that we get a bit of clarity in the well of the lore and everything, and about how Gregory apparently is the robotic version of the crying child. If you didn't know,
Which is kind of like upsetting to me.
it's a
I don't know how to
choice.
feel about
Like
that.
it's a choice. I think
They
it's a
can do
choice.
that. I know they can do that, and it would make sense, I guess, if Freddy was like Afton's like
I
son, which
I
is
do
make them
like that.
brothers.
I do like
But I
Freddy
like,
being Michael Afton. I do like that, but I don't know
but
how to feel about Gregory.
I just really like the idea of Freddy just being a random kid being caught in the lore of Friends of Freddy's and trying to figure out for himself, and then the new kid comes in somehow,
And then
and then it's like,
just like Freddy goes like, Gregory, you need to vent, Gregory.
yes.
Vent. Have you heard of the hit game Among Us, Gregory? You need to vent.
But I don't under okay, well, I'm just not gonna go on with that bit because I'm gonna be honest with you, Chief. Sometimes it makes me upset that there's like the humorous moments in Friends of Freddy's were in Security Breach. I'm not gonna say the game is pretty funny. The game's pretty funny.
Yeah, the game's funny.
I wonder how they were thinking how to make the story and direction for it, honestly, because I don't know.
I would have
Um,
just made it a bit scarier and like just go with one central plot point.
I think they should have just made Vanny the main villain instead of making the
Yeah,
animatronics be like distractions and then trying to pretend that Afton was like the true villain of the story. Because like I get it, it's cool to see him at the end of the game and he has like really like a fucking metal design. I love him. But
like
like
if they wanted to have him in the game, they could have added him as a Easter egg.
yeah,
Because
like that's what we
I
wanted to,
really have
which
no
I thought that's
idea.
what it no, the Afton thing was like I think it felt like an Easter egg, but it was treated like an ending, like a
Yeah, because
proper like
I don't
thing.
know
And it,
why he came back. Because he came back for like 5 seconds, and then like Molten Freddy was like, "Yeet, nope."
It's like, oh, Wood Vulcan, like, what's the name of the alien predator thing that just like goes like, you're mine now. Whatever. Like the scene from Rampage where like,
Yeah, yeah.
the rock's in it. Well, it's like the bitch gets pushed off the edge and the gorilla just eats the girl with the
It's about
pills and
drama. It's
stuff.
about.
I'm not okay. I wasn't going there, but the point being is that that's what happened to Afton
Yeah.
legitimately. So I don't know, man. I kind of wish he was saved for the next game if they were gonna make a next game.
Oh yeah, they're
Um,
definitely making a next game. Well, I hope they do.
but the question is, man, they made a gigantic game, and
The question
I think they
is,
kind of have to restart everything, right? Because they don't know.
I hope that Scott is actually still managing things in the background. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. Because like FNAF Plus, have you heard of that game? FNAF Plus.
No, I have not heard of it
Okay,
before.
FNAF Plus is like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's literally Five Nights at Freddy's one, but scarier, bigger, and heck scarier. Because like, okay, have you heard of Freddy Fanverse initiative?
I think I've seen it before. Yeah.
Like, okay,
Whoa. I
basically,
just I looked it up on like Google, and I've seen the designs, and oh my god, they do feel more mascot
yeah,
heavy. Like,
and like the trailers of the games, like you've seen like the VHSs, like the fan made VHS tapes of FNAF. They're
casual
like,
fan, remember, but like I've heard about them, and I've seen some clips, and they're pretty creepy.
yeah, like the trailers for that game are in that same like topic, not topic genre. and it's so scary, so freaking terrifying because like you feel that there's no way out. You are stuck there, and you will probably die. And in the game, like in terms of story, it makes so much sense now because it has Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and it has the puppet. And like just adding the puppet to the quote unquote first game just adds so much story because it tells us that the puppet has been there for everything.
To be fair, the FNAF 2 did kind of do with the cutscenes. So in theory, like he was always implied to be in the beginning. It's just that the sequel had to be released for it to be confirmed. I guess
Yeah.
because we saw those like the vision guns where Freddy Fazbear look into the eyes of him, and then the puppet just appears in the third one. So we know that was they were implying. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't think we needed to know more about that. To be fair, we had the security puppet, which we didn't. We knew like what happened to the child to that like eventually controlled the puppet herself. But man, dude, I don't know. Like it's a situation where I feel like if they add more to the lore, it will just harm it. I think
Yeah.
they just because they already gave up the like that chapter right with Ultimate Custom. They confirmed it. Afton's dead. He's in hell. Why does he have to come back for a fan service? That's no other reason. He could have come back on a different game, just not this one. You know?
Exactly. Not just this. Exactly. Like you could have added like a little Easter egg. Oh, this could have been so good. Like imagine the game ends, the credits, right? And
Yeah.
then like the pizzeria burns, for example. Like it still burns. In the canon ending, it still burns. But then at the post credit, like we see a charging station, right? Like in the rumble, like in the rubble, everything, and like we think it's Freddy like charging himself up before actually leaving the pizzeria, but then it like just charges up. It keeps charging up, and then it opens, and then we see like Afton's like hand, and it ends. It prepares. It could be so good, and it prepares us for the next games, and it could have been so good. It could have been like freaking Marvel like level, and it could have been so good,
Yeah, it
but.
could have been generated that kind of hype because of course, like it's Afton and he's like a fucking badass design coming out for the next game. I bet it people would have been in love with that kind of idea, but
And it
instead they
would have
blew all their
created so
load.
much hype with,
They
you
blew,
know.
they went too early with it, and I feel like that what harmed it at the end because they wanted to be like the canon ending for Security Breach, which could have been whatever. But
In terms
I
of
think
things that were delayed,
I mean, what was exactly cut up from the game besides like the voice lines?
that voice
Was it
line, I don't think if anything was cut. I think any like some,
You
like I
think
said,
it's a case of being super bloated with content that they didn't know how
yeah,
to
it's a
organize
case
it
of
properly?
exactly, and like I don't know which storyline, which story thread am I following. I don't. I half the time where I see like gameplay, I don't even know what's going on. Like obviously I know what's happening in the game, but I don't know what's happening in the story.
Yeah, like it's basically yeah, like when because we always know that's what's happening in real time when things are like getting scoopy and when to like hide around, but we don't know much of the context of why we're doing this. Like, of
Mm-hmm.
course, Gregory being so vague about his origin and why he's there. Like Vanessa implies that Gregory has no family, which would kind of not make sense if he was just a regular kid. So he has to be connected to the Apton family somehow, right? But at the same time, then it would complicate things, and they should have mentioned that in the base game, like give some more story details of what Gregory and Freddy have and why Freddy wants to spare Gregory when all the animatronics are like evil. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Freddy does explain in the game that it's like his skeleton is like his base, and his like system doesn't want to like hurt him at
But
all.
like that
Uh,
that plot point, I think it's explained via the Freddy's Michael theory.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true, but in that case, then we should have had more like banter between Freddy and Afton, then, right? If you think about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, to be fair, he does say some things like how Afton's controlling him and everything, and like he knows Afton, which is like surprising to me. Like Freddy
Exactly.
knows Afton's existence and and it's like his name. I'm pretty
Well,
sure it's the same. He
I
names him,
think
right?
anything that's connected to any Fazbear like data, I think they would know who Afton is. Just
I
of
mean, it
how.
did say like, I mean, in Help Wanted, they wanted to like retcon every of the other games to not overcomplicate anything. So like the like Help Wanted could have been like this VR game to parody those stories, but in reality, only some of it was true and some of it was not true. And some of them were exaggerated to non-belief, and it could have been like a perfect moment to
To
just
just soft reboot
pick
the series.
exactly. That's what they could have done. So that way it wouldn't have to follow past continuity, and it wouldn't have so many loopholes at the end product, right? But ever since they were like, nope, they were actually real. All of it was real, all of it, and it's like, man, well, that kind of makes things overcomplicated for no reason.
It's
Like,
FNAF. Complicated, it's his middle name.
yeah, but it's not Kingdom Hearts complicated. It doesn't have to be it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
or, organizing the timeline for FNAF was like even harder, like than trying to like figure out why Zelda existed at this time frame. Like, have you even remember back in the day, we used to think the Zelda timeline was like the most like painful thing to organize back in the day because we didn't know exactly why the like the Hyrule story would just mess up like the games and their time frame and the shit context and whatever. Anyways, off topic, but yeah, no, FNAF is just like in this state of limbo so far, and I'm pretty sure most of the fans either like the idea of the game and pretty much that's it, or others just hated it.
Yeah.
Like casual players most likely just didn't like it at all.
I
I mean,
changed my
I even heard
microphone. If it sounds different or like better, I'm sorry.
doesn't sound any different to me, so it's fine. Uh, bro, but like, I don't know, man. It's just that kind of thing where we wish that there was a different outcome.
Yeah. And like
But I guess we got to wait and see, right? So
I just hope with like the movie, if it ever comes out, I hope that we get like some clarity into the story.
I wonder how they're gonna do the movie now, right?
Dude,
Because they were gonna do it with like a horror indie guy,
I
and
swear.
then they switched to Hollywood.
I swear, bro. Like, okay, the movie first, it had like 8 scripts, and they were all like trashed away. And then they settled on one, which was like all about Michael Afton, which would have been so cool, right? Because we would have heard the story from his side and everything. But then, do you know who was going to direct that movie?
I have a feeling who I know, but go ahead.
Christopher Columbus. Do you know who that is?
Christopher Columbus, like the guy that discovered America. Holy shit! I'm kidding.
No.
No. I have to look him up real quick to
It's
make sure I know him.
he made the I think the first and second Harry Potter movie.
Oh wait, Christopher Columbus. Hold up, wait a
Yeah.
second. Christopher Columbus. Is there gonna be a minute? Just give me pictures of like the guy. It just gives me pictures of the guy who like discovered in America.
I
Fucking
think
hell.
that's his name. Christopher
I don't.
Columbus. Look
Hold on.
director.
Director. I think
Am I
Christopher
saying
Columbus.
his name wrong? No way.
I wrote it wrong. That's why. My bad. Oh, I get it now. This is this guy with the glasses. The guy. Ooh. Okay, I see. I see what I mean. The broomstick guy. Okay. Let's see what he's directed so far. So Harry Potter's the big one, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit, he made Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Okay. You know, and he still has an IMB he still has the page Friends at Freddy's there, even though it hasn't been like
Oh,
released in trailers yet.
let's look at the cast. What's the cast for that?
What the cast looking like?
Dude, okay. Real quick, if anybody from Bloomhouse is hearing this, which they're not, which Bloomhouse is the company that's making the movie. If I ever
Okay.
become a director, right? Because that's my dream job, becoming a director for movies. Yes, I'm that guy. And you still haven't found a director. Consider this my initial application for that.
Yo, imagine having Willem Dafoe voice a character in this series. What would he be?
What?
Like, let's cut the bullshit. Ask me the real questions. Would Willem Dafoe be in Empire of Freddy's? And what character would he
Oh,
be?
hear me out. Hear me out.
What
Hear me out. Hear me
character?
out. We all know who
Right, all
we all
right.
know who he would be. Who would be like William? But hear me out. Hear me out. Have you seen this like the series like Lucifer?
I have seen the first few episodes because
Then
my
like,
sister made me
but
watch it.
but but like you know who Lucifer is, like the actor.
Oh, God, fucking, I know he's hot, but I gotta remember his fucking name.
Tom
For
Ellis, I think. Tom Ellis, something like that.
Tom Ellis, yeah, it's
Tom
the name.
Ellis, yeah.
Okay. This goofy looking guy. Let's
Like
see.
I think he could make a good William Afton.
Who would be Henry then? Who would
Henry,
be
Henry,
Henry the
Henry.
guy, the Coke? Because I like this. Okay, so for me personally, I
Chris
like the
Pratt.
idea Chris Pratt being Henry would just be so fucking off, man. No, he'd be just Funtime Freddy. Anyways, I don't know. I so like see, I like the idea of FNAF when it was like William and Henry made this animatronic franchise, right? And it was like a pizzeria, and everything was going great. But then William kind of got like curious and got too close to his son and tried to make like, secret crimes behind Henry's back, which eventually bit the business in half, and which is why they split apart. And William would just continue having more and more control of the franchise and, using it for his traps, I guess,
For his
and his experiments.
extracurricular activities.
Exactly. And Henry would have been very remorseful and just like then it'll all be a breaking point until like Henry daughter dies.
Yeah.
Or like it could have been like Henry made the baby animatronic, like Circus Baby and
I
shit.
mean,
And then
technically, Henry. Like, if we go to a lore perspective, it doesn't make sense if William made the security puppet because the security puppet possessed Henry's daughter.
yeah,
And why would William create an animatronic to look after a daughter that's not his own, right?
no,
And like,
just doesn't.
anyways, just going back to the FNAF movie, yes, I do want it. I do want it. I would like if to like when I become my director, if I become a director, and if like nobody has made the movie yet, I would show. I would actually throw my hat in the ring.
I think you'd be a great fit for the role.
Like I'd
Um,
cast obviously. I try to cast because I don't think he like. This is just that Willem Dafoe. He's just so overqualified to play William Afton. Like
I think he'd be out of place, honestly, because everyone would be like, "Why is Willem Dafoe here? Like, he should be here."
No, like he would
I
make
think,
a perfect William Afton. Cause just like you've seen his performance in No Way Home, and like this is gonna be like spoiler free, but like you've seen him. Like he's a
yeah,
god.
yeah. Yeah. He really made his role better than the first movie, which is I thought
Yeah.
was
Oh
impossible.
yeah. Like 100%. Like, and his rivalry. I'm not again no spoilers. His rivalry with Tom, it's better than the one with Toby. I'm sorry,
Right.
but it is.
Yeah, actually true. I mean, to be fair, like Toby in the original movie, like where his Sam Raimi trilogy, like the point of William was to be like a foil, and like he tried to convince Toby to join his side, which it failed, and then he got to taste his own medicine of betrayal, which is dying by his own hand.
Yeah.
Uh, And so No Way Home tried to play off of that, like trying to convince, instead of convincing Tom, it was more like, let's just fucking like fuck with him and see what he would do
Yeah.
if he gave me the answers to my problem, which is make him like a god or something, or fully be engulfed by the goblin.
But
But that's but off topic. I feel
yeah.
like but I know like the thing is like for me, in a meta sense, if Willem Dafoe was in the movie, it would have been cool.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I think the movie would benefit more if it had like more indie actors personally, because then that way it would be more like less. How I say? I mean, there would be more star power, obviously, but like I don't know, man. There has to be a little like subtlety with like how they're gonna like play off with the characters of the books as well as the games.
Yeah.
Because for what we know, we don't even know if the movie's gonna be based off the books or off the games at this point, because it's been so
It
long that
may
we
just
have
even
so
be
much
like
source
its
material.
own thing. To be honest.
Yes. Or it could just be its own continuity completely with just the characters'
Yeah.
names, right? I
And
mean, that
like
could also work.
just like out of like without questioning it, if like MatPat and Markiplier are not in that movie as like a like an Easter egg, like I just want like if they're not in the movie, I would be sad. I would be incredibly sad. Like, they don't need to talk. Like I just want like a moment in the movie where like I'm looking at the screen right, and I look at a character and I say, oh
It'd just
look,
be like
that's Markiplier.
just an extra like in the
Yeah,
pizzeria. Like I
or
can
like
imagine establishing a shot of the pizzeria like in daytime and we just see like Mark and Amy or something
yeah,
with like a kid or whatever.
Mark could be like just like the daytime guard or something, and like I heard this somewhere. I don't know where I heard it, but I did, and like my like Matt Pat. like you saw Sonic, right? And like in Sonic, there's this guy who created Sonic, right? Who drew Sonic, and like he was like, the Blue Devil is out there,
Yeah,
beware,
like
and
the
like he was at the end obviously right because Sonic exists, and like
yeah.
imagine MatPat outside the pizzerias screaming, "The children are being murdered! Like they're being stuffed inside animatronic suits! It's all a
I just
conspiracy!" It would be cool,
it
right?
would
Because
it would be like a reference to, well, yeah, but I want to picture like he's just like a crazy homeless man, like the one we see in like in the YouTube Rewind where PewDiePie has like he goes like, you know, the one in 2014 where they fucking like have PewDiePie crash to the floor and there's like MatPat with like a cup of like, I think it was pizza or something. Remember that? I gotta
no,
look up the
I
clip real
think you're
quick.
mistaking it. I think like the only moment I remember MatPat being in a hobo is like in Markiplier, a heist with Markiplier in one of the endings.
I guess that's true. But hold on, while you keep talking about the idea, I'm just gonna look up
And
MatPat
like,
real
yeah,
quick on Google.
I just want them to like have a very simplistic role, like literally just that, like a moment where I look at the screen and I can just say, "Oh, hey, that's Markiplier and MatPat," and even Doggo. I think that like Doggo has like deserved a place in the movie.
I mean, actually, I that's kind of fair because I haven't seen his content of the games at all, but he has done a lot of it. And
Yeah,
even played some of the fan games and made people kind
he's
of
the
like.
one that like that's like had the most contact with like Steel Wool and Scott Cawthon to the point of him doing an actual interview with Scott and well Steel Wool.
I'm surprised too, because you think since Markiplier played most of the games, I guess Starker was more invested in the franchise at that point. So I guess that actually kind of makes more sense. Uh, but yeah, no, I think like most of the games would be more. Most people would just be happy with Markiplier or just any of the people who were playing FNAF that were like not
And
that
like
have not aged
yeah,
have aged well, you know, in the modern day. Then maybe I guess
and like even
like
Markiplier, like if you're going to that route of like indie actors, I think Markiplier would be a good actor. Like he's generally a good actor.
especially now since like he started making High School Markiplier and like Date
Yeah,
with Markiplier and shit. Because back in the day, Mark always had this like very comedic way of acting, which never really relayed much when it came to like YouTube stories and stuff.
yeah,
With like the movie, it would be kind of a whiplash because I would love to see Mark acting like really good because I think he can do it, and everyone just being surprised at it.
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like in Free Guy, we did get a Jack cameo. But man, I feel like Jack in that movie. I'm not gonna say like I
I
think he
think he
just
was
really
just
like.
there because he's like good friends with Ryan Reynolds. I think.
I don't think he was good friends. Just he was just in love with Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, what kind of man isn't though?
I mean, I guess that's fair. Also, your microphone's going go scratch scratchy scratch 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 scratch. Man, but so much potential for this franchise, and I feel like people keep saying it's gonna be wasted on the next game, or if they or this game already, and like that's I guess fair to say, but we don't know for sure yet. So, hmm, it's gonna be just a matter of how much time it takes for us to make, how much time it like takes for it to all be organized properly. You know,
Yeah,
I think it's doable at this point, right?
yeah.
You think so?
Like I think the franchise could be like soft rebooted at one point.
Or if not, at least just sort of, you know, organically go to a conclusion for this saga and then just move on to like a new one or something. Because
Yeah,
I feel like
as long as
there's
it
only so
doesn't
much you
turn
can
into
do.
like whatever the name of it is, I don't even care. Like the last Star Wars movie,
Rise of
as
Skywalker.
long as it doesn't
Rise
go
of
in that
Skywalker.
direction, I'm fine. You know, I'm cool with it. Have you seen
I
that
mean, I
movie?
think anyone would be.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I've
god,
seen it.
I literally wanted to get out of the theater when Ray kissed
Oh, I
Kylo Ren.
laughed.
I
I
wanted to leave.
legit, dude. I was like in that mindset where I realized that they're gonna kiss at some point. And I was like, oh no, please, we're doing so well. There could have been like a fucking like, you know, respectful friendship and shit, but also kind of like enemies still.
It
But
came out of
and when they
nowhere. It came
And
out
when
of
they kiss, it
nowhere.
legit made no sense. I think it was just the actors having sexual tension. That's what happened. They were just like acting on their own accord. Like, it was all improvised or something. I can't, man.
Nice.
It's like, dude. But I laughed so hard in the theater with my dad, and my dad was just sort of mortified. He was like, "Okay, fuck this movie."
Yeah, like it came out of nowhere. I've
Dude,
seen people's reaction in like theaters, like people record like reaction nowadays, and I heard people like the whole theater was booing, and I was like, oh my god.
I'm not alone. Just like, oh my god, this shit was terrible. I wasn't lying to
No,
myself.
because in the theater I went, all the girls in there when she kissed Kylo were like, oh my god, yes, wow, and I was over here like, what the fuck?
I mean, Karen was just like, fucking get it, girl. And most of them
And
were just
dude, when
fucking
she
pissed.
said I'm Ray Skywalker, I just left. I just left.
Mm.
I didn't even want to finish it. I just left the theater.
Man, that is actually kind of, I forgot that happened. Man, I forgot that Ray was revealed to be just a Skywalker. Ah, that's so dumb.
I just left the theater, dude. Oh god.
Why is that so hard to just make a new continuity work in the new Star Wars universe? Like, it doesn't have to be based on nostalgia. And it backfired when they went original at the last movie. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like I
I
think they
don't
should just
get it.
like make like prequel stuff. Cause like you've seen Mandalorian and the Book of Boba
Yeah.
Fett. They're really good. Like no spoilers, but they're really good. And guess what?
I
Guess what the Mandalorian and Marvel have in common?
well, oversaturation, but give me the real answer.
uh Marvel was like on a downward spiral before they made Iron Man, and like they were
Yeah.
going to fail. If like Iron Man didn't do so well, I think like they would have like filed for bankruptcy or something. I'm not sure what the story's there, but in came John Favreau, which is the director. He's
Jon
Happy Hogan.
Favreau.
You know him, right?
Yeah, I know him.
And like he directed the movie and he saved pretty much Marvel. And then when he came, like they asked him to there to direct the Mandalorian, and he pretty much saved Star Wars.
Yeah, it made the hype much more reasonable because everyone was like excited for this universe, like having Mandalorian being based off which is like a different like timeline technically.
Yeah,
Well,
and I
is that a
hope.
spoiler or was it implied in the? I
No,
don't remember.
I mean,
I
I
put-
hope that after whatever happened in the like, you know what happened in season two. After that happened, I hope that in season three we just get to see him alone, like with nobody, like him just actually being a bounty hunter. That would be so cool.
Be
Like
like Samus. Give
not
me the
in
Samus Aran spinoff show that I always wanted, but with Mandalorian.
not in an arrow way where like every episode he like gets a new bad guy and it's just like you failed this galaxy.
It's more of just like it sounds like personal kid kind of vibes, you know.
You
But
failed this galaxy. Oh my god, I'm dying.
I feel people kind of like talked about like the Book of Boba Fett. I haven't watched the series at all, but people keep saying how man, Mandalorian's much cooler than this movie, this like show, and I think everyone kind of wanted the Mandalorian to. Apparently, like the Book of Boba Fett could have been. They wanted them to be similar in show, like in tone and everything. But
Well,
whatever.
like speaking of
That's
serieses, and this is the last thing, but speaking
holy
of
shit.
serieses, um, like Moon Knight.
You cut out so bad,
Oh,
bro.
sorry.
You good?
I hope. Moon
Oh.
Knight.
Oh yeah. So, I watched a trailer and it's really good.
It's really
From what
good.
I've seen,
It's really good.
it's psychological horror, which is I kind of enjoy the direction they're going for. And I have no idea who Moon Knight is. I just know from that one like meme where it's go random bullshit
Go.
go. But
You know that's
but
fake, right?
I know it's fake. But I really want it to be real.
It's so funny though. No, I love the one where like Venom is on top of him and he's like, "Why do I suddenly hear Eminem all of a sudden?" It's just so funny.
I feel like there's a big old chance that Moon Knight will be like the next like what's like the next Daredevil
Batman.
basically? Is that like Batman? I guess
Oh,
that's
this is
true.
I just like more on the like DC universe like on another episode because I want to talk about that, but not in this episode. It's too
I
much
have
of a tough one,
never seen a single DC stuff at all. I
dude.
haven't had the chance to.
Dude,
Kinda should at this point, right? Because I have
like,
HBO Max. I could technically,
like you
theoretically
should
watch it.
learn of some stuff that's going on. I'll just leave it at like the meme where like I saw a meme where like if a Marvel movie goes wrong, Marvel just fires the director and hires new director and a new writing team, right? And down it just says when a DC movie goes bad, reboot the whole damn franchise.
Just hit the reset button. Just like a but but to be fair, some people have redeemed themselves. I'm looking at you, Justice League. I feel kind of bad for Dan Schneider at the time. Kind of wish the movie didn't like release in that state originally, but hey, it's fine. Like
We'll talk about that.
also,
We'll talk about that more like
that's not
next.
important. We're talking about FNAF, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I
FNAF
think we
in this
said everything we
movie.
need to say. We're
I think
actually
you
out of time.
I mean, true. That's actually kind of fair.
Final
But
statements.
a final statement is that potential can always be lost potential, but if you work hard and not make stories out of your fucking ass, then things could actually go somewhere, you know? I
Uh,
mean, I mean, come on. I don't know. I'm gonna be less mean and say like I feel like I have faith in the team, like Seal Wool and stuff. Scott might have retired from the franchise and now and just sort of like supervising it for now, which is like I guess fair enough.
yeah,
But I have hope that maybe they'll clean up their act in the future game or maybe in the updates. Who knows?
like,
We might
but
get special DLC content. Who
again,
knows? Ooh.
ooh, again, as I said with like previously, like not in this podcast, but like with friends, it's just I think it's the same situation with Endgame. Endgame was a like an amazing feat. Like they did so much stuff, but they could have done more. And like obviously they just couldn't because it was 3 hours, obviously. But it's the same situation with FNAF. Like they did so much stuff, but they could have done more, and like they could have done it more consistently. But overall, huge props to Steel Wool Studios for creating like such a visually stunning game. Because it is
No,
visually
you guys
stunning,
rock, honestly. Yeah, you guys
and
did a
like
great job in the game so far, and I
again,
hope to see more improvements in the future.
yeah, and like I love I don't like the way the franchise is going right now, but it's not because of how the gameplay is going, more like the story. But in terms of like gameplay and how good the game looks, and
Like direction of like the game itself as an experience, I feel like it has a lot going for it,
yeah,
and just
and
more
again,
workshopping, and it's enough.
like huge props, such a small team like doing such a beautiful game. It's like it's nothing to sneeze at. It's really good.
I mean, have you seen the models for each of the the Plex floors? Like those are cram packed with detail, and like the base models are so big. Like that's just impressive on many levels. It just I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like
Not even Luigi's Mansion 3 has
honestly,
that, you know?
if they would have delayed it to fix all those little like problems with like the lore and the camera and everything, I would have been fine with it. You know, I think it would have been a much like better experience. But the way the game is now, I hope that with the Tales of the Pizzaplex, it gets better. And with like DLCs and updates, I hope it gets better.
Yeah, me too, honestly. We'll have to wait and see though. But
But overall, love this franchise to death. I won't ever stop loving it.
I have respect for it, and I hope that it keeps me earning more and more until it earns like more of like my genuine love for it. Because I loved it as a kid, and I think it can still do that now as an adult, obviously. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see. So
Well, thank everybody so much for listening. This has been 12 a.m. Voice Call. I'm your host, Daiji.
welcome to the A podcast. I've been DerR.
And we'll see you on the next one. Later.
Bye bye. It's a probate. It's Markiplier.